heavens blood flowed in the streams, and I heard a voice saying, "Such is your luck, such you are called to see, and let it become rough or smooth. You must surely bear it."
I was born on property of Benjamin Turner. I had a vision and I saw white and black spirits engaged in a battle. The sun darkened, the thunder rolled in the heavens. Blood flowed in streams, and I heard a voice saying, "Such is your luck, such are you called to see, and let it come rough or smooth, you must surely bear it." That Turner and many other slaves were executed after this rebellion for slavery reform. Many people wanted to abolish slavery. To get rid of it, they were called abolitionists. One of the most important men of our race is Frederick Douglass. Like Nat Turner, he was born a slave, but he ran away from his master and became a great speaker. For the abolitionists standing before a large audience like this one, he would tell about his childhood and the evil of slavery.
My mother's visits to me were few, brief and mostly made in the night. Yet I shall never forget her expression when I told her I had no food since morning, and that the mistress meant to starve the life out of me. There was pity in her glance at me. She gave a large ginger cake. That night I learned that I was not only a child, but somebody's child. The sweet cake my mother gave me was in the shape of a heart on my mother's knee. I was a king upon his throne, but my triumph was short. I dropped off to sleep and awake in the morning only to find my mother gone. I do not remember to have seen her after this. I learned after my mother's death that she could read, that a field hand should learn to read in any slave state is remarkable. But the achievement of my mother, considering the place, was extraordinary. Still, the dark night of slavery fell upon me. I languished until I felt a resurrection from the dark tomb of slavery to the heaven of freedom. I was not afraid to die. Bruises I did get, but the Spirit made me a free man.
Mr. Frederick Douglass sometimes took off his shirt during his speeches and showed the deep marks on his back. Sometimes this caused some women in the audience to faint, and sometimes another former slave and woman joined him in speaking of human rights, meets the German truth.
Hey, all woman, I have as much muscle as any man. I can work as much as any man. I plow, reap, chop, and mow. Can any man do more? I tell you, the brightest child of glory outshines the sun.
Another great woman of color did not make many speeches, but she did make many journeys. She herself had ran away to where freedom was, but returned time and again. To save the world, to rescue other slaves, she took them from the one hiding place to another, using what we call the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad was not a railroad with tracks and trains. It considered many of safe houses where slaves would stay. On their way to freedom, some called her to Moses. Like Moses of old, she led slaves to a promised land.
I was only 7 years old when I was sent away to take care of a white baby. One morning I stood by the table waiting till I was to take it. Just by me was a bowl of wonderful white sugar. I never had nothing good, and that sugar did look so nice. And my Mickey's back was turned to me, so I just put my finger in the sugar bowl to take one look, and she turned around and saw me. The next minute, she had that raw high down. I just flew. They did not catch me. I run and I run and I run. And when I was just clear took it out, I came to a big pig pen. And I stayed from Friday to the next Tuesday. I was so starved, I know y'all got to go back to my house. I had not nowhere else to go. But years later, I did have somewhere to go. Freedom Land. And I took others with me. You see, there was one or two things I had a right to. Liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other. But no man should take me alive. You may not know that there were slaves in Utah. When the pioneers came, they brought big closer. The gun in the very first one. Parkway, Oscar Crosby, Great Place was probably tried to buy him. Years later, at the pioneer mechanization, Greece was honored. There, a little girl asked the question, Mr. Blake, what was it like to be a slave?
You know, I have to answer that, Mr. Blake.
No, I want to say being a slave is alright, but if you want to be a slave, then but many of us colored folk wanted a better life. I was raised a slave and had a master and told me what to do. He gave me a place to sleep, fed and clothed me, worked me and told me what to do each day. Sometimes I got whipped and my master would give me a big kick in my pants. If I suffered up, made a mistake, or if I was lazy. Slavery has been around for a long time, and the colored folk got sold like they was a horse, a cow, or some other animal. They became the owner's property, and they worked long and hard for the master. Most everyone did not want to be a slave and be in bondage to another. Because you can't have your own dreams, and you can't have your own thoughts and dreams. You can't plan for the future with all your decisions being made by someone else.
You see that need for freedom is deep in all of us.
Freedom came, but not easy. It came with blood. It cost this nation the Civil War to free its slaves. Many of our race fought in the war too. After it was over, we were emancipated. But we had new challenges. Most who had been slaves still couldn't read or write. We didn't have good schools, and we sure didn't have any money. Some still farmed the ground they had farmed as slaves, though now they could sell because they raised. Others moved elsewhere in search of a better life. Some found it, and some only found sorrow and trouble.
We knew we needed education. We needed a vision of what we could be, not just a memory of what we've been. There were many who built schools to educate the freed slaves and their children. One of the great ones was Mr. Booker T. Washington. He founded Tuskegee Institute. He laid a foundation others were built on. Good people were still working and building to ensure that opportunities for education will be equal for white and blacks alike, and that all races will have equal say in the government.
I do not believe that any state should make a law that permits an ignorant or poverty-stricken white man to vote and prevents a black man in the same condition from voting. It will become apparent that the white man who begins by cheating a Negro out of his ballot soon will learn to cheat a white man out of his.
marching was famous in his days and respected, but full freedom was still a long way off for us.
So there came a time when it was necessary for the Negro to express himself on a more public stage. And there was no place like Harlem during the 1920s and 30s. The Harlem resistance was a cultural, social, and artistic explosion. It was our time to celebrate our culture. We had endured centuries of slavery and the struggle of abolition. The new Negro movement, as they call it, kind of new black culture identified. We could dress up and walk up and down 125th Street and go to the Cotton Club where we were granted to have a great time just to listen to this.
Then let's not show it. Then let's not show it. So the Bible says, and it still is no. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that God is home. God is on. Yes, the strong gets more while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever really ever make breaks. Oh no. Mama may have and Papa may have, but God bless the child that God is on. That God is on.
Even with all of the strides he made during the Harlem Renaissance, racism and equality was still prevalent in every major city across the United States, but especially in the southern states. It was time for us to stand up for our civil rights, or in one case to refuse to stand up. Meet Rosa Parks. December 5th, 1955 was one of the memorable and inspiring days of my life. History records this day as the beginning of the modern civil rights movement that transformed America and influenced freedom revolution around the world. I had been arrested 4 days earlier in my hometown of Montgomery, Alabama, for refusing to get up and give my seat on the bus to a white man. Somebody would have to say, there lived the race of people, and black people, fantasy rights, and black complexion. A people who had the moral courage to stand up for their rights, and thereby they injected a new meaning into the which as a much customary practice at the time. Martin Luther King said, we and others, when the first history books are written in the future, veins of history and of civilization.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. Over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my own grave and go home to my Lord and be free.
There are only a few names from our history. In a few words, There are so many other new poets, musicians, artists, doctors, politicians, lawyers, and professors. We call ourselves African Americans because we cherish our heritage. In its completeness, African and American, we were here and we still are building lives and legacies. Perhaps no one helped us realize our worth and our dreams highlight the Reverend Martin Luther King.
I am in Birmingham because injustice is here. I am compelled to carry the gospel of freedom beyond my own hometown. I cannot sit idly by in Atlanta and not be concerned about what happens in Birmingham. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I have a dream that someday my 4 children will not be judged by the color of their skin or by the continent of their character. I have a dream today.
Dr. King has a dream. I have a dream. I hope each of you has a dream. I hope each of you has the knowledge that your dream cannot come true. So dream high.
After the assassination of Dr. King and Malcolm X, many were angry and wanted to take revenge. Dr. King's message of nonviolence was no longer required and Malcolm X was any means necessary. Messages was one person on the West Coast to take part.
Beyonce has a kind of star power that shifts conversation, influence culture, and brings up emotions from community. Make the Black Panther Party the center of discussion on racial relations in America in 2016. The Black Panther Party was not created just to end police brutality, but to uplift communities of people who were suffering from the imbalance of the government who guided some lives more than others. Let's hear from one of the most vocal female leaders, Ms. Angela Davis.
How y'all doing? It's really a wonderful feeling to be back among all of you who actually achieved my freedom. And I really wish you could have been there in that program at the moment when those 3 not-guilty verdicts were pronounced, because that victory was just as much as yours as it was as mine. As we laugh and cry at these inspirations of our joy, and we witnessed what we was a real people's victory. In spirit, you were there, we're all there. That moment, my freedom was achieved as the outcome of my mischief. A mischief people struggle, young people, in order people, brown, Asian, Native American, white people, students or workers, inside cities, the keys which open the gates to freedom, we would have just become. The momentum of this moment just must be sedition, and it must be increased. Let us try to seize more keys which open the gates and bring out more sisters and brothers that they can join us in ranks of our struggle out here.
There are many activities. Women who back Huey Newton, Eldridge Clever, and Stokely Carmichael. In the Black Panther, the message of helping and uplifting our own community was not lost. Matter of fact, it was taken to another level. During the formation of hip-hop, the next generation there were many great lyricists to come out against oppression and police brutality. There was no rappers more vocal during that time that could make the world listen. In fact, his mother was a Black Panther. Whether it was an interview or a rhyme, Tupac Shakur had the ear of the streets and would often drop knowledge to the young Black youth.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee you that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to start with somebody else watching us. We might not be that long, but let's not be selfish. And because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about it. How we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I don't know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody's going to clean it up. That's it.
Hip-hop was created in the late 1970s and early 80s, and there was no stopping it. It is everywhere when it is here to stay. Matter of fact, hip-hop online is the factor that spans all genres of music. It has helped to shape history. A history of our ancestors never saw coming. In 2008, it was made as the United States elected its first African-American president. The election of our first African-American president seemed like Dr. Martin Luther King's mountaintop dream had been related.
While we were celebrating, President Obama won his hometown of Chicago and many other inner cities. We're facing the untimely deaths of our young Black youth. Yes, some were killed at the hands of other Black youth, but many others murdered by those in position of power. All everyone ever asked for is that justice be served in so many of the cases of young people being killed by those in authority. Justice was not and still has not been served. Many youth and young adults grew tired of these injustices, and thus the Black Lives Matter movement was born.
We have witnessed with us here today a small portion of our history.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. You know, it's hard to believe that it has been 8 years since I first came to this convention to talk with you about why I thought my husband should be president. Remember how I told you about his character and conviction, his decency and his grace, the traits that we've seen every day that he served our country in the White House. also told you about our daughters.
And how they are the heart of our hearts, the center of our world. During our time at the White House, we had the joy of watching them grow from bubbly little girls into pleasant young women. A journey that started soon after we arrived in Washington. When they set off for their first day at their new school, I will never forget that winter morning I watched our daughters, just 7 and 10 years old, peel into those back CUVs with all big metal guns. And I saw their faces pressed up against the window. And the only thing I could think was, what have we done? See, because at that moment I realized that our time in the White House will form the foundation of who they will become and how well they manage this experience truly make or break them. That is what Blach and I think about everything as we try to guide and protect our girls through the challenges of this unusual life in the spotlight. How we urge them to those who question their scholars' criticism and faith. How we insist that the hateful language they hear from public figures on TV does not represent the true spirit of this country. How we explain that when someone is cruel or acts like a bully, you do not stoop down to their level. Our motto is, when they go low, we go high. When every word we utter, with every action we take, we know our kids are watching us. We as parents are the most important role models. And let me tell you, Blach and I, that some approach to our job as president and the first lady, we know our words and actions matter, not just to our girls, but to children across the country. Kids who tell us, I saw you on TV. I wrote a report for you for school. Little kids like the little black boy who looked up at my husband and his eyes wide with hope, and you wonder, is my hair like yours? And make no mistake about it. This November when we go to the polls, that is what we're deciding, not Democrat or Republican, not left or right. No, in this election and every election is about who will have the power to shape our children for the next 4 or 8 years of their lives. And I am here tonight because in this election here is only one person who I trust with the responsibility, only one person who I believe is truly qualified to be president of the United States. And that is our friend Hillary Clinton. That's right, yes. See, I trust Hillary to lead this country because I see her lifelong devotion to our nation's children, not just her own daughter, whom she has raised to perfection, but every children who needs a companion, kids who take the long way to school to avoid the gangs, kids who wonder how they ever afford college, kids whose parents don't speak a word of English, but dream of a better life, kids who look up to us to determine who and what they can do. You see, Hillary has spent decades going to thankless work to actually make a difference in their lives. Advocating for kids with disabilities as a young boy, fighting for children's health care, as a first lady, and for quality child care in the Senate. And when she didn't win the nomination 8 years ago, she didn't get angry or disillusioned. did not pick up and go home because as a true public servant, Hillary knows that it is so much bigger than her own desires and disappointments. So she proudly steps up to serve our country as Secretary of State, traveling the globe to keep our kids safe. And look, there were plenty of moments when Hillary could have decided that this work was too hard, that the price of public service was too high, that she was tired of being picked apart for how she looked, or how she talks, or even how she laughs. But here's the thing. What I admire most about Hillary is that she never bucks under pressure. She takes the easy way out, and she never takes the easy way out. And Hillary Clinton has never quit on anything in her life. And when I think about the kind of president I want for my girls and all our children, that's what I want. I want someone with the proven strength to preserve, someone who knows this job and takes it seriously, someone who understands that the issues as the president faces are not black and white and cannot be boiled down to one form characters. Because when you have the nuclear codes at your fingertips and the military in your command, you can't make snap decisions. You can't have the thin skin or tenacity to lash out. You need to be steady and measured and well informed. I want a president with a record of public service, someone whose life work shows our children that we don't chase form or future for ourselves. We fight to give everyone a chance to succeed. And we give them that even when we're struggling ourselves, because we know that there is always someone worse off. And there, but for the grace of God, I go. I want a president who will teach our children that everyone in this country matters. A president who truly believes in vision that our founders put forth all those years ago, that we are all created equal, each beloved part in great American story. And when crisis hits, we don't turn against each other. No, we listen to each other. We lean on each other because we are always stronger together. And I am here tonight because I know that it is the kind of president that Hillary Clinton will be. And that's why in this election I'm with her. You see, Hillary understands that the president is about one thing and one thing only. It's about leaving something better for our kids. That's how we always move in this country forward. But all of us coming together on behalf of our children, folks who volunteer to coach to teach that Sunday school class, because we know it takes a village. Heroes of every color and creed who wear the uniform and risk their lives to keep passing down those lessons of liberty, police officers and protesters in Dallas who are disrespectfully want to keep our children safe. People who line in Orlando to donate blood because it can have been their son, their daughter in that club. Leaders like Tim Kaine, who show our kids that decency and devotion look like. Leaders like Hillary Clinton, who have the guts and the grace to keep coming back and putting those cracks in the highest and hardest glass ceilings until she finally breaks through, lifting bringing all of us along with her. That is the story of this country, the story that has brought me to this stage tonight, the story of generations of people who felt the lash of bullying and shame and serving the shame of segregation, but who keep on striving and hoping and doing what's needed to be done, so that today I wake up every morning in a house that was built by slaves. And I watch my daughters, two beautiful, intelligent, black young women playing with their dolls on the Lighthouse lawn. And because of Hillary Clinton, my daughters and all our sons and daughters now take a grant that a woman can be president of the United States. So look, don't let anyone tell you that this country isn't great, that somehow we need to make it great again, because this right now is the greatest country on earth. And as my daughters prepare to set out into the world, I want a leader who is worthy of the truth, and a leader who is worthy of my girls' promise, and all children promise a leader who will be guided every day by the love and hope and possibly big dreams that we have for our children. So in this election, we cannot sit back and hope that everyone works out for the best. We cannot afford to be tired and frustrated or silent. No. Period. Between now and November, we need what we did 8 years ago and 4 years ago. We need to knock on every door. We need to get out every vote. We need to pour every last ounce of our passion and our strength and our love for this country until electing Hillary Clinton as President of the United States of America. So let's go. Let's get to work. Thank you all, and God bless you. I want to read a poem that I made myself. It's on remembering Black women. Every day the dream begins with a dream. Our dream was to become equal and successful Black women. We weren't always able to get an education. We were taken away from our daughters, sons, and husbands, sold to people we didn't know, raped by other races and forced to do things, shipped to different countries and cities. We were stripped of our culture and forced to become something we weren't. We weren't allowed to vote before 1920, but it took another 45 years before we actually could vote. It became the 19th Amendment, and so we had to overcome our fears and show them Black women are not dumb. Just as well as men can do it, women can do it too, if not better. Black women have become one of the most successful, educated groups in America. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out this evening. We will now ask our principal, Ms. King, to come up for a closing word.
I'm so proud of you all. I'm almost teary. Oh my God, I can't. Wow. Oh my God. I said I wasn't going to do that. The last graduation and do it again. But, you know, wow. I am proud because this, my students will have to work hard on a limited schedule. Put it together. So we didn't have a lot of time to put this program together, and for myself, I told them I didn't want any parts of it. I just wanted to walk in and be surprised with the rest of the audience, and I was surprised. I'm hoping that through this program that you all actually listen to the words that you said, because yes, our people did fight very hard for us to get this education that sometimes we take for granted today. So, you've made mommy proud today. I would like to thank the parents who showed up for the program today. I would like to see more parents showing up for the program because my students, I'm so proud. So, before I tear up some more, I'm going to say thank you.